shit. This is Mommy Uncensored. Oh, shit. Hi, people. Maybe a short one, maybe not. I don't know. I know it's a day late, so my bad. But, crazy things have happened in my household. My child has COVID. She is doing much, much better. She, was very symptomatic earlier on. 2 days of 104 fever, extreme headache, and chills. She never lost her appetite, though. My girl ate everything in sight, including my food, which I was terrified of, so I just let her have it, which meant that I didn't eat anything, which, wasn't awful because, I could always use the weight loss, no matter how unhealthy it is. Anyway, but I am happy to report that she is feeling much better. She is running around, having fun, trying to have fun. She's still pretty low key, not as like wild and crazy. She does get winded pretty often, which is it's like, oh, my poor baby, because she goes like what it looks like back to normal and like running around and trying to, play hide and seek and stuff. And then next minute she's like laying on the floor, like, I'm tired. And I'm like, oh, my baby. And it's like, it really hits like my baby really does have COVID. This is a reminder though, like COVID is still out there. It's still running rampant. It's still crazy. I am negative. I have been negative the whole time. Which is great. I don't think I'm not sure if I'm going to get it or not because of my blood type. I apparently have O blood type, and we are less susceptible to getting COVID. So it actually works out that, I'm able to fully take care of my child, still taking the precautions that I need to take because I can still get it. It's not like I'm like completely immune to it. I'm not. But I am less susceptible. So I am more able to, like, she doesn't have to, like, completely, like, isolate herself. I could just, wear a mask, like, or stay away from her, like, have her not in my face and stuff like that. Still taking the necessary precautions that I need to take, which I'm doing. So that's pretty good. Other than that, yes, it's been a hell of a weekend, man. It's been crazy. We know where she got it from. I'm not, disclosing that. But, everybody is doing their part and making sure that, this is the last of the spread. So, it's been a wild time, but I wanted to like talk about kind of like that or something like that or a little bit. So the day she got tested, so she woke up, mind you, she sleeps with me. She sleeps with me every night. We are in the process of getting her because she hates her mattress. And, my baby hates her mattress. She doesn't have to sleep in her mattress ever. Like, I wouldn't do that. So, I'm getting her a new mattress. That is happening. So, she's been sleeping with me. And, she woke up and, like, she was, like, she didn't wake up. I woke up. She was a ball of fire next to me. And I was like, what the hell is happening? So I'm running all around looking for a thermometer, finally get a thermometer, take her temperature. Her temperature is 104. I was like, oh, boy, this is a lot. But I'm thinking, like, maybe it's just that high because she's under the covers. So I take her, I puts a cool rag on her forehead and stuff like that and stuff. And it goes down, it immediately goes down to like 102.9. And then I I'm like, this is crazy. So I set her back in the bed, gave her some Motrin, fever reducer, and, take your temperature again, and it's back up to 104. Wild times. So I'm like, I'm still like kind of on edge because it was, still the pandemic. And I'm like, I don't know if I should bring my sick child to a hospital where they're treating COVID patients. Like, I feel like that's like a recipe for disaster. Like, oh, what do I do? So I'm like, you know what? She's like limp. She can't, like, she's exhausted. I'm like, you know what? Let me give it an hour. So give it an hour. She's up. She's talking. Her temperature's down a little bit, to like still like 102.9 and stuff like that. Still high. She's eating though, and drinking and asking for food and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, this is strange. So I called the doctor because, I was going to call the doctor regardless. So I called the doctor and like let them know like what's going on. And the nurse was like, yeah, we're going to ask you to bring her in immediately. And when I tell you guys, my heart dropped. Like, my heart sank. Immediately, I started shaking. I started sweating myself. I was like, okay. But you know what? It was in that moment that I realized I've prepared for this. Not COVID, but I've prepared for this. And it's always, whenever I tell people like what I do in preparation, for like, emergencies or stuff like that, everybody always called me paranoid and like, I'm being paranoid. I'm worrying too much. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Mind you, most of these people are not mothers who tell me this. They're just not mothers. So I'm like, maybe, for a while I was like, maybe I am being paranoid. Maybe I am doing this and this and that. But you know what? I'm not. I wasn't. Because I planned exactly for this. Because on the way to getting her to the hospital, everything went wrong. Everything. Her car seat was not in the car. My tire was flat. And there was traffic. Like, heavy traffic on the way to the emergency room. But again, because I had already planned for this and had contingency plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, all the way to plan probably Q, I was fully prepared for this moment. And normally in these times, I would have been like broken down like at least 3-4 times, but I didn't. I stayed calm. I stayed with a cheery attitude. So Kennedy didn't think that anything was wrong. And I knew what questions to ask. I knew what to record. The fact that I actually recorded her sleeping the night before because she was doing like a humming thing in her sleep. I recorded that without even realizing I may possibly need this. Oh, well, no, I knew I may possibly need this later, but I was just like, this is strange. Let me record it. I recorded her humming in her sleep. So when the doctors asked, what was her symptoms? What is she doing? This and this and that. I gave them all of her, immediate symptoms. And then I was describing the humming. And I was like, you know what? I have a video of it. They were like, wow. I'm like, I know. So, I showed them the video. And that's when they immediately admitted us. So, that's how we were seen immediately. It was really good. We were seen immediately. We immediately went to the back. We were there for, quite some time because, it's an emergency room. They're busy. And it's COVID. They're really busy. So, I didn't mind that, and I expected it. I expected it. So, how did I expect it? Well, I now have her, I have both of our chargers. I have her tablet. I packed a little juicy. I packed this, I packed that. And, these are things that I have in her bag anyway, These are things I had in her bag, like, regardless. So it was like, this worked out so perfectly. Like, I could not have been more prepared than I was. And I was so, I was like, whew, Lord, thank God for panicking. You know what? Thank God for being paranoid. Seriously. Because, like, knowing me, I don't know what I would have done had I not prepared for this. Like I said, I probably would have crumbled. But I didn't. So, and I mean, I might have went a little overboard with the paranoia because, they discharged her, that she got tested positive and stuff. And, as soon as they told me she was positive, I called everybody that she was in contact with in the last 2 weeks. And yeah, like, I called everybody. It was a very short conversation. It was just, hey, letting you know, Kenny tested positive for COVID. Go get tested immediately. Her father was the first number on my call log because, he kept her for 2 days while I was at work. So yeah, he was going to be the first one. So yeah, we did that. And, we got discharged and everything like that. They gave us, like, all the instructions what to do and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And it was like, yeah, okay, I know what to do. I've been reading up on this. I know what to do. But then when we pulled up to the house, she started, like, wheezing a little bit. So I was like, okay, no. Put her back in. I put her back in the car seat, and we went to CHOP, Children's Hospital. And where we were seen right away immediately as well, which was amazing. But, they were, this was the part where I might have panicked. I might have been paranoid because they were like, yeah, nope, she's moving air, nicely. And, her heart rate is a little high, but that's because, she has a fever and stuff like that. So, but, they did monitor her. While they did monitor her, they, gave her some snacks and some, like, things to play with. They gave her Play-Doh and coloring books and stuff like that, apple juice, just, really, really accommodating to kids. And I really appreciated that. That was really, really cool. And they calmed my nerves because I'm sitting here, like, asking all these crazy questions. I'm like, what happens if it goes back up? What happens if this and this and that? And, like to the point where I was, like, writing my questions down on the way to the hospital anyway. So, like, I'm literally, like, going off the list, like, talking to them and, like, I got all the information I could possibly need. They gave me also the CDC hotline number and everything because, I guess they assumed that I would have more questions later on. And, of course, I did because I called that CDC hotline about 4 or 5 times already. So, and this happened Saturday. It's Tuesday today. Yeah. So, all of that happened. So, yeah. Yeah. Moms, you're not being paranoid, okay? And I hope that whatever you're quote-unquote paranoid about never happens to you. But if it does happen to you, guess what? You are so prepared for it. You are prepared for it. Why? Because you go over this incident, you go over this scenario, you go over everything over and over and over again in your head to where it's like at that point, when something does happen, if it ever does happen, but when it does happen, you know exactly what to do. You know how to keep calm. You know what resources to use. You know what questions to ask. You know what to look for. You know everything already. So go ahead and be paranoid a little bit. It's okay. Yes, it probably will shave years off of my life, but honestly, I probably would have done that by myself, freaking out about this anyway, had I not been prepared. So, at least my child knew that, not much was wrong. Well, she, thought that, nothing's too wrong. Hold on. I don't have it, like I said. I do have a cold, though. It seems like I am catching somewhat of the flu, but I am